All right, so this is a quadratic. I'm going to turn it around, negative 16t squared plus 80t. Now, I could totally do the quadratic formula on it, and it would be okay if I did. A is negative 16, B is 80, and C is 0. However, since I'm pretty handy at factoring, I think I'm going to take out a GCF of negative 16t. And then, so I'm going to choose to solve this quadratic by factoring instead of the quadratic formula. They didn't tell me how to solve it. So you would get the same answer if you did the quadratic formula. I just can get this guy a little quicker this way. So then I set negative 16t equal to 0. So that gives me at 0 seconds. And then I set t minus 5 equal to 0. So that gives me 5 seconds. So that's when the ball will hit the ground at 5 seconds. All right, let's finish up this last problem. It's a blast from the geometry past about right triangles. So the hypotenuse of a right triangle is 4 feet long. One leg is 2 shorter than the other leg. One leg is 2 shorter than the other leg. So one leg is x, one leg is x minus 2. Okay, now what little thing do you have to remember from geometry is something that is on every single solitary ACT test is the Pythagorean theorem. And the Pythagorean theorem is leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So these two guys are the legs. This guy is the hypotenuse. So I'm going to say leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. So don't forget that x minus 2 squared is something you have to FOIL. So that's going to give me x squared minus 4x plus 4 equaling 16. Lo and behold, it's a quadratic. And I don't think it's going to factor, so I'm going to set it equal to 0 and do the quadratic formula. 2x squared minus 4x minus 12 equals 0. Now, I could notice and divide everything by 2. Believe it or not, it's not a deal breaker. It just makes the number smaller. So it would be totally okay if you used that for A, that for B, and that for C. You would just have bigger numbers. I think I'm going to use this for A, this for B, and this for C. So the value of A is 1, the value of B is negative 2, and the value of C is negative 6. So x equals negative b, so that's 6 plus or minus. B squared is 36 minus 4 times A times C, all over 2 times A. So again, here's the most common mistake. People will put 36 minus 8, but those two negative signs make it plus 8. So that's 6 plus or minus the square root of 44 over 2. The square root of 44 breaks down into 2 square root of 11. So then, when you 3 musketeer that, you get 3 plus or minus the square root of 11. Now, if you got 2 answers for x, x is this leg right here. So how can that leg be 2 answers? Well, it really can't, because when you do 3 minus the square root of 11, you get a negative number. So the only answer that works is 3 plus the square root of 11. So the first leg is 3, oh, it's at the end of the paper. Let's see if that'll hold it. Is 3 plus the square root of 11, which is about 6.3. And the second leg is 3 plus the square root of 11 minus 2, so 1 plus the square root of 11. So that would be minus 2, so that would be 4.3. So if they want the exact answers, you would say 3 plus the square root of 11 and 1 plus the square root of 11. If they want the approximate answers, you'd say 6.3 and 4.3. And we're done for the day.